So glad that you could make our time to join us on today's episode of Tax Matters. My name is Olumuyiwa Matuluko. That video clip is courtesy of the Students Advocates for Tax, SAT Club of the Federal Government College, Gariki in Abuja. You've seen that video before on this program. Now, why are we beginning like this? May 27, Sunday, May 27, 2012 is Children's Day in Nigeria. Of course, you know that every May 27 is dedicated to celebrating the children and youths of Nigeria. Today's episode of Tax Matters and the very next one will be our own efforts, our own contribution towards celebrating Nigeria's children. We will, in those two episodes, be showcasing the efforts of the Federal Inland Revenue Service at catching them young and, of course, the resultant activities of the youths in tax advocacy. In the year 2009, the Federal Inland Revenue Service set up the Students Advocates for Tax, SAT, in collaboration with the Society for Youth Empowerment in Nigeria, CN. As a pilot scheme, Students Advocates for Tax Club, SAT Club, were set up in 3 schools in Abuja. And as the pilot scheme grew, the activities of SAT were coordinated under the Student Tax Advocacy Initiative, and a board was put in place to oversee the activities of the SAT clubs. SAT clubs have continued to work stronger as the members continue to use various media to propagate the gospel of voluntary tax compliance in Nigeria. They use paintings, they use drama, they use music, and all other forms of media available to them. At the 13th Annual Tax Conference, which was held in May 2011 in Abuja, the members of the SAT Club thrilled the audience at the hospitality night.
I really love my country. I really love Nigeria. I stand for peace and progress, development to the fullest, 'cause I really love my country. I really love my country. I really love Nigeria. I stand for peace and progress, development to the fullest, 'cause I really love my country. We've been through ups and downs, but we stand together. Let's get us this far. We've been studying for so long, but now it's time to get us moving. Do you really love your country?
Still in 2011, the SAT Club of the Federal Government Boys College, Gariki, Abuja, entered a 3-minute video in a young people's competition organized by the OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, which video was adjudged as one of the 20 best entries from 46 countries across the globe.
There comes a time where barely standing is not enough. The eagle was born to soar, but our eagle is grounded by poor amenities and social vices. Long before now, man lived primitively, scavenging to find food. He was prone to diseases. He was ignorant of the causes, lashing out on his gods, blaming them for his predicament. He lacked proper communication between himself and his loved ones. However, our eagle is grounded, not crippled. Man tested for improvement, looking for a way to turn his disadvantages to advantages. After so much cry and waiting, came his savior, who brought hope and dreams to reality. This was tax. has begun to work, turning things around. It provided good transport system, electricity, faster meal. He now gets the best of hospitality. He no longer blames his gods for his predicament. Man is now engaged in mechanized farming and has become a manufacturer and exporter. What more can be said of progress, rather than a country whose citizens have tax payments as their number one priority? Progress is when our eagle takes first flight. Progress is steps till our eagle shall rule the sky.
Still on the efforts of the Federal Inland Revenue Service aimed at catching them young, the 2011 edition of the President's Secondary School Debate, organized by the Federal Ministry of Education, was fully sponsored by the Federal Inland Revenue Service, and quite naturally, all the topics for the debate were on tax issues. You will recall that the last two episodes of Tax Matters for year 2011 were the semi-finals of the President's Schools Debate, while the very first episode of 2012 was the final of the President's School Debate. On the sidelines of the debate finals, which were held between the 13th and 15th of December 2011, Tax Matters spoke to some of the young brains who came from all parts of the country. We're going to mix those interviews with other interviews conducted with other young ones from other parts of the country.
What do you know about tax?
Tax is a source of revenue and is the money paid to the government.
Tax is an amount of money paid to the government.
Tax is the money paid by people that are working or buying anything to the government. There are different types of tax. There is value-added tax. There is personal income tax. Personal income tax is the money that, if you are working with government and they will have to deduct like 10% out of your salary, whether you like it or not.
Tax are the money government is to provide goods and services for people.
Tax is when you pay money to government.
Well, there are so many taxes we pay in Nigeria, whether directly or indirectly. Petroleum profit tax, personal income tax for individuals, value-added tax on consumers, export duties, import duties in Nigeria, but to mention but a few.
Personal income tax, value-added tax, company tax, poll tax, excise duties, import duties, export duties, petrol profit tax.
Tell me about taxation.
Taxation, I would say, is levy or a fee that is imposed on salaries, wages, and so many other things that you do to earn money. And I would say there are different kinds of tax. I would be limiting myself to the common ones, which are VAT, that's the VAT, value-added tax, the income tax, the personal income tax.
What taxes do people pay in Nigeria?
Okay, people do pay the personal income tax, value-added tax, capital gain tax, even the tax on inception, security risk tax, and many more. Like, the list is endless.
To me, what I understand by tax are levies imposed on individual, company, and goods.
What types of taxes do you know about that people pay in Nigeria?
Okay, first and foremost, we have the most important of them all, the personal income tax, which is paid by every single salary earner in the country. We have the value-added tax paid by everyone who purchases consumable goods. We have the tax on inception. We have the security tax. We have the import tax, import duties and tariffs. We also have numerous taxes on exported goods.
What kind of taxes do people pay in Nigeria?
We have value-added tax, personal income tax, company's income tax.
Tax is a levy imposed on an individual in a state so as to improve the facilities and the economy in the state. Let's say, for instance, our school, Agricultural Grammar School, I'm sure tax is used for the structure of the school. And let's look at the facilities there. We have almost 1,000 ICT equipment like the projector, the computers, and the teacher staff rooms, very equipped, and the laboratories too, a well-equipped one, and the everywhere, even the class, conducive place for learning.
Well, to me, tax is a compulsory fee imposed on working class people, individuals, companies, and then goods. When they import goods from other countries, then they have to pay some tariff on it. So that is what I can say about tax.
What kind of taxes do people pay in Nigeria?
We have the VAT tax, value-added tax which they pay, and the personal income tax which they deduct from your account. The VAT tax is the tax we individually pay from goods we buy. Most of the people don't know we do pay tax, but we do pay tax. Every item which we buy in the market is probably...
Whether you are young or old.
We all pay tax. Even the pencil we use as a learning instrument at school, we all pay tax.
And then, what role or roles does taxation play in the polity?
What does government use this tax for when we pay the tax?
Government uses tax to build up the economy, to do roads and social amenities, to do public schools and everything that we need.
Tax is used to build up hospitals, pay develop the countries, make better things for our country, especially Nigeria, so that we too can be one of the best countries in the world.
What do you think government uses tax for?
They use it to improve the electricity sector. They use it to improve the water that we're drinking.
They are numerous. Provision of social amenities, good road, water, hospital, good health care, primary schools. The list is endless.
Will you willingly pay tax when you start earning income?
For sure.
What is the role of tax to the government?
It's to better our lives, to create good things for us, good facilities, good basic amenities, good infrastructures. Let's take a look at our roads. For example, let me use the Badagry Expressway, about a 10-lane road. If not for tax that we collect in Lagos State, I don't think even the government can do it alone. They need the support of the people, which is why they impose tax.
Tax can help the development of our country through the provision of social amenities. It could help in employment. It could be used to bring in foreign investors. Taxation has a lot of importance to our country, Nigeria.
What would you say is the role of taxation in economic development or national development?
To promote social services, to promote the growth of the economy, to provide employment, etc.
What does government use the tax in the society?
For roads, hospitals, schools, and water.
What is the role of tax in the society?
It helps in improving things in the society. Let's take, for examples, when we pay tax, we get good hospitals, good schools, good roads, because with that, we know that the citizens are also supporting the government and they are playing their own part in society too. Even those that complain that their students the money they pay in private school are much, they will have schools to take their children to. And those that don't have money to go to private hospitals too, we also have a public hospital to take their child to when they don't have the money to do so. So I think tax is very important for everybody to start paying.
The government uses it to build good libraries, for example, my school. And you can see we have good infrastructures, well-equipped laboratories. The environment is conducive for learning.
Well, taxation has a lot of things to do, but in Nigeria's situation, I think the most important thing relying on taxation will do for Nigeria is to reduce our overdependence on the oil sector and help improve infrastructural development and help to make sure that every citizen participates towards the growth of the economy.
Taxation really has a whole lot of role to play in national development, because as it is now, Nigeria is solely dependent on oil, and sooner or later the oil is going to exhaust. So it's now left to taxation alone to help boost our country forward, because even in countries as developed, even America does not depend on natural resources. They depend mostly on taxation. So this means that taxation really has a whole lot of role to play and should keep on, gathering momentum and other.
Taxation can play a very important role in the economic development in Nigeria, because if you took, for example, like the country United Kingdom, they are using non-oil taxes
to finance their expenditures. And so because of that, there is economic sustainable development there, because the education right from the primary up to the secondary school is free, qualitative and quantitative. I think if Nigeria can also concentrate on taxes, definitely the Nigeria will be applicable to achieve its Vision 2020. And also if Nigeria can concentrate on taxes, especially on the corporate bodies and the individuals, definitely the looting, extravagance, misappropriation and mismanagement of government resources will drastically be under reduction. And also the rate of corruption will also be drastically reduced.
What is the role of taxation in economic development?
Okay, taxation is used to generate government revenue. It is used as a fiscal tool to regulate the economy. Revenue generated from taxation are used for the development of the country. It's used to develop infrastructures. It creates more employment.
Taxation is used for revenue generation, and it's used as a fiscal tool to regulate the economy. That is when there is inflation, when there is deflation, and when there is balance of payment deficit. Taxation is a very good tool that can be used, because when there is inflation, the instrumentality of taxation is invited, and the rate of tax in Nigeria is increased, so that the government can mop up the excess money in the economy. And when there's deflationary trends, with taxation is invited, and so forth.
What role do you think taxation can play in national development?
Well, it plays so many roles. It has helped to generate income for the government, that is revenue. It has served as a fiscal tool by regulating the economy. And by generating revenue, it has helped in improvement of infrastructural facilities in Nigeria, social amenities, maintenance of the law, and far above them all, security, which is what Nigeria needs now.
Because taxation helps to reduce the rate of unemployment. It helps by providing infrastructural facilities and social amenities. It even helps in stopping urban migration and even boosting the valuation currency, thereby improving standard of living for individuals. This is economic development, which will rate Nigeria as one of the developing countries in the world, thereby maintaining our standards as the giants of Africa.
And this clincher.
To be truthful, it really pays to pay your tax. And the knowledge I had before was that tax is not mostly used in our country, Nigeria. People just embezzle the money gotten from taxation. But to be frank with you, the FIRS is really working hard, and they're really doing much when it comes to increments in the revenue or provision of basic facilities and infrastructures. So it really pays to pay your tax.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service introduces the tax card to make all tax payment easy for you. Just follow these 7 easy steps. Obtain your taxpayer identification number, TIN, for free at any FIRS office. Get your tax card from your bank. Log on to www.firsonline.com. Then register to obtain a password and access the payment process pages. Fill your TIN number, tax type you're paying, amount payable, and period of payment. Confirm the entries on your transaction. Then print your e-ticket and present at any FIRS office as an evidence of tax paid. It's that simple. For more information, visit www.firs.gov.ng or any FIRS office close to you. FIRS. It pays to pay your tax.
So you see that indeed the young shall grow. We are so excited. I mean, look at the level of knowledge exhibited by those children. And it set us thinking, anybody who wants to preach to these children, who wants to further educate them on taxation, has a lot of work on his hands. We're happy to inform you that the authorities of the Student Tax Advocacy Initiative of the Federal Inland Revenue Service are already aware of the job at hand. From Friday the 4th to Saturday the 5th of May, the STI authorities got together 19 non-governmental organizations, NGOs they call them, who have been selected after a rigorous exercise to replicate the SAT clubs in every nook and cranny of Nigeria. Lectures were delivered to them on the rudiments of taxation, on what taxation is all about, the roles that it plays in national development, and all that, so that when they meet these children who already are knowledgeable themselves, they will know what to do with them.
Aside the tax laws and all that we learned yesterday, we really need to understand the rationale behind FRS And of course, the initiative STI, wanting to imbibe a tax-paying culture. And then also we're targeting the young people for 2 reasons. Number one, because we believe that they're better communicators than the adults. And we will get to see that as we move on in this program. It will amaze you how young people can actually communicate. That's number one. Number two, we see it as an opportunity to build leadership skills in our young people. And that is why our curriculum is not just taxation. We have elements of leadership, we have elements of activism, we have elements of, we teach them goal setting and all of that. Okay? So this is an opportunity for you if you want better leaders tomorrow. SAT program gives you that opportunity. As we already know, SAT program is a program that equips young people to be advocates for tax in their communities, starting from their school communities. You cannot tell a young person to go and advocate for tax without first and foremost teaching that young person taxation, right? So the 2 major components is the tax education aspect and the execution of projects. And it's important I let you know that even though FRS is a government agency, FRS has a leadership that is really dynamic. FRS has a leadership that is contemporary. And before we came to this stage of using NGOs, we thought it through very, very carefully. Are NGOs the right people to use in the replication of the SAT program? Are they going to deliver on their promise? Are we going to get the intended results? Are we going to get, credible NGOs who are committed to the common good and not just looking for opportunities to get grants? These were critical questions that we had to ask ourselves. I am optimistic, I am hopeful that everybody seated here today, representing one organization or the other, you will live up to the mission statement and vision statement of your various organizations. You will do all that it takes to contribute to the transformation and economic growth of Nigeria. We cannot afford to fail. It is possible. It is doable. No partner will come to me and say, well, I went to the field. This taxation thing is not possible. It's not possible. They didn't listen to me at all. That is why we're here today, to build a capacity. There's a way to go about, advocating for tax or any other thing, as a matter of fact. And that is why we're here. And I will tell you, one thing that will make people believe that you are real is the passion. It's a vital fluid for this work that we do. They will just know if you're faking. They will just know if you're what? If you're faking. It would work.
At the end of the capacity building workshop, agreements were signed between STI and the NGOs. We wish the Students' Tax Advocacy Initiative, all members of the SAT clubs, the Federal Revenue Service, and the non-governmental organizations the very best of luck. The young shall indeed grow. Next episode of Tax Matters, we'll be bringing you the studio guest interview conducted with members of the University of Lagos Tax Club. That is a must-watch. Still in celebration of Nigerian children and youths on the occasion of the 2012 Children's Day. We thank you for watching. Please, let's get together again next week on this same station. Bye for now.